on January 23rd, 2025. Would you like to open this in prayer, sir?
Certainly. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord. We thank you for this great country you've given us to live in, Heavenly Father. Father, we just pray. We pray for everyone in this country. There seems to be hurting all over, down south, out in California. The whole nation's hurting from different struggles today, Lord. And our township is no different. We have different struggles all over the township. Lord, we just ask you to be with our residents, Heavenly Father, be with our firefighters, our police officers, and our road crew, as they're all being stressed out because of this weather. Heavenly Father, just give us your mind's eye, give us your wisdom to make the decisions that you would have us make for your township. This is not our township, this is your township that you put us in charge of. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Right in the middle.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can have a roll call. Mr. Levin?
Yes.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
And Mr. Freshman? Yes. I know my kids would have liked to have been in Florida and make snowballs in Florida. I couldn't believe the snow that Florida got. That was just unreal. Old business. Mr. Mazer, I'll turn this old business over to you, sir.
It would come to me, sir.
Or would it come to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
both things I had put on there.
Okay, not a problem.
So if we're gonna have, old business on there, I feel like we should use it, and this came up at the last
Okay.
meeting and said that we're gonna talk about it today.
Yes, yes. Okay.
So I did my assignment, and it's about Rochus Johnson's and Griggs contract. And basically, I didn't have enough time to pull something together with, to get someone to like come in. We would have to have meetings with them and things like that and everything. So I just wanted to remind you of a conversation that you and I had a year ago at the OTA conference.
Okay.
We went in and out of the different sessions, and there happened to be a particular one that all three of us trustees sat in on, not together, do you understand?
Right.
We didn't even know the other one was in there. And when we came out of there, you walked up to me in the hallway and you said, we should hire somebody like this. And what the gentleman was talking about was TIFs and JEDs and
Yeah.
the specialist, you know?
Right, right.
And so I feel like our lawyers are like Walmart. You need a contract done, go back to aisle 9. You need a TIF or a JED, go to aisle 7. And you need something on contracts, you go to aisle 13. And real estate, same difference and everything. And so what I'd like to propose is that next year, I looked at that proposal from the lawyers, and it was dated November the 27th.
Okay.
We talked about it at the last meeting. There was a
Sure.
whole month there that we could have been doing something.
Okay.
So what I would like to propose is that we ask Mr. Mazer to inform us in October coming up, and I understand it's down the line, and that we start searching and have an opportunity to speak to other firms and things like that. Maybe we don't kick away meetings in November and December. We come together and have some people come in and talk to us and decide if we would like to take on some other lawyers, or at least look at them. I think all we proverbially did again was kick the can down the road, and now we're up against it. We have to sign this contract because we need lawyers.
Okay, so what if we did this? I like your analogy of Walmart. I always say Google. You know, it's like they're very good at giving us the information that we need. That is legal advice that's binding. I agree with you. I remember that. We're getting next week. I'll be going to those courses again. There's no reason that we can't contact them and say we want to be month to month until this board makes a decision. If they say no, they say no. That, you know, obviously they like to keep us. So if the board's not opposed, I haven't heard from Mr. Leeser yet, but I am right there with you because of what you said as specialist. I know I sat here and made riddles where I said you know, your teeth are a few inches from your brain, but yet you don't go to a dentist for brain surgery. And I agree, what is the best that we can get mind-wise and can get things done for this township? Especially trying to get a jet in, especially with Westland Mall, with what's going on there, that will protect our borders for so long. I'll give you an example. When I was fairly new sitting here, Westland Mall was in the township. It just got, I take that back, just before I become a trustee, it was annexed into the city. After I came on, I asked the attorneys, and it was Brocious at the time. And he said, well, your agreement is only an MOU. And I'm like, which team are you on? Because to me, you're the one that wrote this, you're the one that advised us, but look at where we're at. You didn't fight for us. So I agree with you, Mike, on that. And I'm a big component of let's get the right person. Yes, we've got good relationships that has been formed with the attorneys, but set those aside and let's get what is the best for the township for their dollars, because at the end of the day, the money that we're spending per hour for an attorney and their advice, and you know, we need to recoup that in some way. And we've been working on a JED for 8 years and we've yet to get it across the finish line, so that's my feeling.
Well, here's my feeling on it, is I believe Brocious, Johnson and Griggs is a great general counsel. What you gentlemen are talking about is specialties like JEDs and TIPs. There's nothing wrong with having general counsel and also having another specialty for whatever specialty it may be, whether it's TIPs and JEDs or development lawyer, whatever. I think there's many ways that we can do this, but I think we'd be hard to find another general counsel any better, any more respected in the industry than Brocious, Johnson and Griggs as a general counsel.
And when I read that letter, I don't see in there anywhere where it says we can't
Right.
get a second
No.
one or third.
No, I've asked.
or whatever,
I
so-
believe, no mean to cut you gentlemen off, but I believe that, you know, that would be the advice on some of these things. Mr. Mazur's had more contact with them than I have, but, I think they would encourage it and even possibly give us some names of a specific attorney on JEDs or TIPs. I keep using those because that's what you brought up. But I think as general counsel, I think they're great.
I like that, as long as the board wants to do that and consider to bring on people, or at least have meetings with people to try to get more information for a specialty if we need them, that we can.
Okay.
I think maybe Steve could have a conversation with Brocious and them and make sure they understand where we're headed, that we're going to consider doing that. And if they're good with that, I have no problem voting to,
Okay.
whatever you.
So what I'd like to do is make a motion. You want me to make it, sir? Or would you
Yeah.
like to?
Go
So
ahead.
I'd like to make a motion, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board gives Mr. Mazur permission to have conversations with Brocious, Johnson, and Griggs. That is currently our legal department, and we would ask that we would go month to month while we seek out some of the board's decisions to look at other opportunities for the township. I would say, how much time would we say? At least 3 months?
I don't think that's what we.
I don't think that's what we
That's
agreed.
not what we
Yeah.
agreed on.
Okay.
I think what we, I'm
We're
sorry,
gonna
let me
scratch this.
take a
So
shot.
I'll make
I
it.
think, go ahead, James.
I'll make a motion that would it need to be Mr. Mazur, would that need to be a resolution since it's dealing with monies?
Well, I guess,
On signing the contract?
I guess, yes, if we're signing
A contract,
contract,
it's a resolution.
Brocious and Griggs, it's a resolution, to explore other law firms, I just need a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into contract with Brochus, Johnsons and Griggs as our general counsel, and that we explore other attorneys for specialty items such as JEDs, TIFs, developmental, any other specialties, et cetera, that may come up in the next 12 months. With that being said, I'd ask for a second.
Okay, with that, I think what we need to do, gentlemen, first is go ahead and pass the resolution for Johnson, Griggs, Johnson, how's it go?
Brochus, Johnson and Griggs.
And that's what we're gonna do, that's
Yeah,
what.
Right,
that was,
but what I was gonna do is if we pass the resolution, then we move to the motion that we're going to seek out others, so it's clean.
okay.
So, you got the resolution number and et cetera on that, sir? You wanna read that off, and let's just clean this up, and we'll pass that. If we pass that, then,
I'll
sir,
make the
I'll make
motion.
the motion.
It's resolution 2025-008. It's a resolution contracting with Brochus, Johnson and Griggs Law Firm as Franklin Township's attorney for the year 2025. Whereas the Franklin Township Board of Trustees is authorized by section 309.09B of the revised code to employ attorneys on an annual basis other than the prosecuting attorney to represent the township and its officers, boards, and commissions in their official capacities, and to advise them on legal matters. And section 309.09B of the ORC provides that no such attorney may be employed except on the order of the board duly entered upon its journal, in which compensation to be paid for the attorney's legal services shall be fixed. And whereas the board finds it necessary to appoint attorneys to counsel and represent the township on an annual basis for calendar year 2025. The board has appropriated the sum of $55,000 for legal services for 2025. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that Peter N. Griggs of Brochus, Johnson and Griggs LLC and the law firm of Brochus, Johnson and Griggs are hereby employed on an annual basis for the calendar year of 2025 as the township's legal counsel to represent the townships, its officers, boards, and commissions in their official capacities and advise them in connections with such matters as may be referred to counsel by or on behalf of the board or its designee. Compensation for such counsel during 2025 should be paid as follows: $225 per hour for attorney time, $205 per hour for senior associate time, $180 per hour associate time, $120 per hour for clerk, and $105 per hour for legal assistant, plus out-of-pocket expense reimbursement, provided that the total compensation shall not exceed $55,000 without further action by this board. The attorneys may be discharged at any time by majority vote of the board. Township administrators directed sending a copy of this resolution to the law firm. All formal action of this board concerning and relating the adoption of this resolution will pass in an open meeting of this board and in all deliberations of this board and any of its committees. The result in such formal action were meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
If there's no further questions in the matter, I'd ask for a second,
I will second the resolution.
and a roll call whenever.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes,
and Mr. Fleshman.
Yes, and sir, I think you wanna make a
Yep.
motion?
I will make a motion at this time that we seek out specialty counsel for JEDs and TIFs. And also would like to include in there any other specialty attorneys that we may need throughout the calendar year of 2025. And I would ask for a second.
I'll second that. Is there any other questions? I'll second. And a roll call whenever you're ready, sir.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Fleshman.
Yes. I heard a funny this week, and it's funny that we're talking about attorneys. It was so cold this week, even the attorneys kept their hands in their own pockets.
I'm gonna go ahead and take care of B, okay?
Okay?
So under old business is the audit, for 17 through 19, so 17, 18, and 19. And I've been working on this for a while, and so I was able to reach, Bob Hinkle, which is the person directly underneath Keith Favors. So Bob told me that he answers to Keith Favors. And he knows that I'm bringing this information to the meeting today. And the township has spent over $200,000 on this audit, and we still don't have an answer. And so he assured me that we will have an answer to this audit by the end of February. So I've been working
Which
on it,
year?
of this year.
Did
And
he
I've
say
been
this
working
year?
on it, and the employees have the right to know what's going on because they're hearing all these rumors and everything. And most definitely, the taxpayers have a right to know where their money has gone, what's going on. And so I've been working on this because I've been in office now a year. The very first meeting I had when I came into office was I sat down with the auditors my first week, and they told me the audit was coming to an end and they were wrapping things up. And here we sit a year later and we don't have an answer. And so I started making phone calls and started trying to find out. And so I'm relaying to you what he told me, and I will hold him accountable to that. And so I just wanted to give a report today.
Okay.
I believe, I think if you remember right, Mike, I told you when you told me you had that meeting and they told you that, I said, good luck.
And you
Now,
did.
We'd been told many times at different dates.
I wanna add one thing, when it comes out, I implore people to please read it. Please take the time to read the audit, it's important to know how much money we have spent and what money they're talking about and different things like that, and that's all I got.
Sure, sure. You know, one of the biggest things, they say slow nickel, you don't wanna trip over a dime to pick up a nickel. It'll be interesting to see, we spent 200 and how much?
Over 200, I'm confident in saying we've spent over 200,000.
So if we spend over 200,000 to find that we overpaid or different RRFs or whatever you call it of 75,000, did we do good justice by spending over $200,000 to find, you know, X, Y, and Z? But the good thing that the audit did come out, is some of the errors and then the ways in which, the township was operating. It has made us be able to, have protocols in place and.
Be more fiscal responsible.
Absolutely. So it's a better method in which nobody's really trained to do this job. You learn from the past successor or et cetera, and you go with the same. But the fact that we have guidelines and we have an administrator, it makes things more feasible. And there's more steps in place now to find anything that may come of it. Especially when it comes to the dollars of the township, it's always very important to know exactly where every dollar's going. And procedures and able to catch if someone is taking money. And we're not saying that that was the case in this case. Moving on, new business, Patty Spencer, you're up.
I am up.
You are up. That's a good thing. Every morning you get up, that's a good thing.
He blesses me every morning for that one. I'm very skippy today. The one thing that I'm sharing from the city is, under health and safety, we have, from the Franklin County Commissioners, you probably know about it, the One Door Initiative to expand access to health and human services. They're consolidating the Office of Aging, Child Support Enforcement Agency, Job and Family Services, Justice Policy Programs, Veteran Services, all under one roof. And this will be open, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 3 o'clock on the first floor of, right now, the, Michael Dorian Building. They are working, if I'm not mistaken, of having a building itself, off of East Fifth, I believe, to put everybody under the one roof. So I have that, and I'll share that. My printer decided to play games, but you can still read it. If I can read it, it's readable. The other thing I have is from our, Health and Welfare Services, Area Commissioner. He had sent an email back November 18th to fire, police, Mr. Mazer, copied me, Jim Stevens was copied, on a homeless encampment back behind the AEP structure off of Harrisburg Pike, which is in the township area. He lives in the township. I believe he's a neighbor of yours.
Okay,
His name's Gavin French.
sure.
And, outlining all the issues that he was having with the homeless camp back there. We did invite the AEP gentleman that was here at your last meeting, because that is part of his, bubble. And we let him know about the issues that are still ongoing. As of, January 15th, I have pictures that he sent that there's still, issues in the area. His biggest concern is the fact that they are building fires right next to the electric
That looked
poles.
like that was a fire. Was there a fire there in that picture?
No, I think it was sun.
Okay.
I think it's sun. I would hope it's sun. But, now he did say to me that he knows there have been some arrests made from back there. AEP is trying to clean things out, but as of the 15th, there's still issues there.
To save some time, can I tell you that'll be addressed when Byron comes to the podium?
Works for me.
Okay,
The only last thing I have is, Black History Month, February 11th. There's just information on it from the city if anybody wants to be a part of that. That's all I have.
Okay.
thank you.
And I'll tell you, like I normally do, I will put all this up here for
Okay.
yours too.
I'm gonna open the floor for any quick comments or questions to Patty. Hearing none, I'll close the floor. Thank you.
We have one.
Okay. Public comments and questions, sir, do you have that?
Yeah, we have Brenda Fuller, 3350 Brookside Boulevard. Topic is Township. And your time will start when you hit the podium.
Okay, so, as you guys are aware, I've been in contact with the auditor's office, attorney general's office, governor's office, and so forth. And, they're telling me that it's gonna be a few more weeks, but, you know, this is kinda getting ridiculous when the Fiscal Integrity Act says that once she's gone for, you know, a certain period of time, that her position is deemed vacant, and that it's up to you guys to deem that vacant.
So.
Is that all you have?
So, Mr. Mazer, I think that we've talked, I know when we were at our event at the casino, we talked with the prosecutor's office and et cetera. I think we've made it very clear that the vacancy is deemed vacant. But any actions that we take, we can't put someone else in here until the prosecutor or a judge fully removes that person, then we can. But at this point, we definitely, all three of us know that, we've said, okay, obviously it's vacant. And we've taken every step that we can, and we commend you for everything you've done, the affidavits you filed, and et cetera. As you can see yourself, we can't get where they go, okay, let's help the township out, you're gone. Now the township can do what they need to do. Until that action comes, there's nothing more we can do other than wait the 3 weeks that I'm aware of.
So, why can't you cut her pay off and let her get an attorney and fight the township? So then she would have to explain why she hasn't been here.
That is a possibility that, has been discussed, and I don't know if that's gonna come up today.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead, finish.
That may come up today. I'm open for that conversation. The worst case scenario, if we are wrong about it, oh, we're sorry, here's your check. So that is an option in my opinion, but we'll see what comes up with the board on that. Mr. Mazer, I know that we've had, conversations. What was the legal aspect if we do cut a, payoff to a person?
I was advised by the township's council that probably would not be a prudent thing to do. And that came, like I said, that was their position.
Okay. To the board, can I hear any conversations, that you may have?
So Steve has the letter what I found, and I asked him, at some point I may ask him to read it, so would you mind if he reads that now?
Yeah, let's just
into
take
the
care of
record?
this now. And if you wanna have a seat, is there anything else?
No?
So we'll just continue this conversation right now.
So this is section 503.241 of the Ohio Revised Code, titled When Township Offices Deemed Vacant. And it reads, whenever any township officer ceases to reside in the township or is absent from the township for 90 consecutive days, except in case of sickness or injury as provided in this section, his or her office shall be deemed vacant, and the Board of Trustees shall declare a vacancy to exist in such office. You want me to continue reading, Mike?
Yes,
Okay.
cause I thought you were gonna ask me, I apologize.
Such vacancy shall be filled in the manner provided by section 503.24 of the Ohio Revised Code. Whenever any township officer is absent from the township because of sickness or injury, he or she shall cause to be filed with the Board of Trustees a physician's certificate of his or her sickness or injury. If such certificate is not filed with the board within 10 days after the expiration of the 90 consecutive days of absence from the township, his or her office shall be deemed vacant, and the Board of Trustees shall declare a vacancy to exist in such office. This section shall not apply to a township officer while in active military service of the United States.
Okay, so, I would like, we have a situation where we need to put the, fire levy on the ballot, and it has to be certified, by the fiscal department. Sir, can you pull up the email and read the email, but change the colorful language to just the last text?
I don't have an email.
I mean, not email, but text.
I have it. If
You
you
got it?
want me to do it, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, will you read that, because, let's just try to not go blank on some of the words.
I'm prepared to do it, just gotta find it.
I was at-
I was
got it.
trying to find it on my
Oh,
phone.
you have it? I'm sorry? Oh, you don't?
I was trying to find it and I couldn't. I mean, I remember you
Yeah.
shared it with us, and I didn't wanna spend too much time trying to find it. But I think it's important to read it to the public, because she is an elected official, and, I think the public needs to know what we are dealing with.
So can I take over now?
Yes, sir.
So what we did was we called something that's called an emergency meeting the other day. We take it very serious because it takes the public out of the opportunity to come in here and hear what business is being done. And we're only supposed to do that when it is of the utmost importance and business has to be conducted. It's very important that we conducted that business that day in order to get this fire levy on the ballot. And so, our fiscal officer was asked, would she come in or make herself available to sign some papers, and a message came back. And I know John wants me to clean this up, so I'm gonna clean it up the best I can, is F, no, I'm not just signing shit. And so we moved on. We had to get this done and we had to get this taken care of. And so she's not coming in, she's not going to sign. This is going to inhibit people from having fire and emergency and ambulances and things like that coming to their home. This is what you're paying us to do. And so at this time, I would like us to make a motion, a resolution to vacate the position. And I can't feel any stronger than, I think I heard John say, what is it they're going to do? They can't make a decision in months on everything we've given them. Not only has Ms. Fuller filled out a complaint, I also personally, under the Integrity Act, filled out a complaint myself, because they said when I came in office that I must watch this, and this training, you have to do it. In order to be a trustee, you have to do it, so I did it. You know, a couple hours out of my day, I know I get paid, I get it. And I did it, and in there it said, you see something, you have to say something. I did, I said something, I wrote it all out, I sent it all in, and they can't even get back to us and tell us what's going on. And we've jumped through every one of their hoops. Do this, do this, do this. We have these many days to answer you back, they don't do it. And so, it's our obligation to do this. And if we're wrong, then someone will come running through that front door amazingly and tell us that we're wrong. But at least we'll get some action.
You know, with,
Put a contract out on them.
the importance of this levy, the last levy failed. If you take out the Valley View votes, went in there, 68 votes somewhere in there. We have a time levy that is coming up. If we can't get this on the ballot to pass, the time levy ends. We, as trustees, have to make the hard decision, as well as the chief, to close down one of our stations. Never in history have we seen, I hate using California as an example, but what it means when people do not have the tools that they need to protect a community. So I know there's a big comparison difference, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. At this point, would you like to make the
Just to make sure it goes through right, I'd like you to do it.
Okay. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board recognizes and deems the fiscal department absent. All payments will stop and cease immediately until further notice, until further actions of this office. If there's no further questions on the matter, I would ask for a second.
Should it not say fiscal officer, not
Yes,
office?
yes, officer, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Do we have a resolution number?
We probably don't, because we don't have a fiscal officer here to give us the number, but I'm sure we will get the number.
And what was our, Mr. Major, if I can ask our advice of our attorney on this matter? Not the pay, but this matter, have we seek counsel on that?
Well, let's tee it up, first of all. When Trustee Blevins mentioned we had an emergency meeting. What happened in that emergency meeting is we removed Lindsay. We needed the fiscal officer to sign this resolution. With the help of the township's council, we removed Lindsay's name from this document and inserted Nicole's name as the administrative assistant. We are not certain that the prosecutor is going to accept that change on this resolution. I have a conference call with the prosecutor's office Tuesday afternoon to discuss this very situation. From previous conversations I've had with the prosecutor's office, I think they now are appreciating the dire straits that the township is in. So I'm hoping from this conversation, the prosecutor will accept us substituting Lindsay's name and moving forward with this resolution, which then helps us with two subsequent resolutions. One resolution where the board approves the fire levy. A second levy, the board approves that we can get it and put it on the ballot by February 5th. So as you can see, my conversation will take place January 28th. I am hoping we have a decision that day. So between January 28th and February 5th, I need to bring the trustees back in and have them approve these other two resolutions. If the prosecutor's not comfortable with anybody else being on the resolution than Lindsay, then probably the levy will not go on the ballot for May 6th,
Yes.
5th,
Oh, no, May,
in May.
yeah.
The first Tuesday. So gentlemen, do we want to press forward with this now, this resolution that we've crafted on the table? Or do we wanna wait until we hear back from the prosecutor's office on the 28th? Because we have to come back in, we still can then hold the pay for the month and not do payroll for Lindsay, because she hasn't been here in how many months? 4, 5, 6?
Middle of August.
Since middle of August.
I thought it was July.
August 12th, to be exact.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So we're looking at today being the 23rd.
Been 5 months.
I can move forward with this if the board so wishes to, or.
So if, my whole problem is my thoughts go to the elected officials get paid on the 1st.
Right,
Are we gonna be back together before the 1st?
No.
We have to be.
we have to because of his conversation with the,
It all depends on if we get it, when we get a decision from the prosecutor's office, from my conversation on the 28th.
We can go ahead and set a meeting for the 30th, for next Thursday morning. Now.
All right, if we're gonna set a meeting for the 30th, so I'm happy to, go along with that.
so what are we looking at, next Thursday?
Yeah, you wanna do 9 AM?
Yes, cause I have a dentist after that.
Now,
Okay.
yeah, you'll have to do it in the morning to avoid anybody attending that conference.
Yeah,
Oh, how about the 29th?
that's Friday.
No, the 29th is Wednesday.
Wednesday, the conference starts.
So what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we do it in the morning at 9
Are you
o'clock,
gentlemen
it'll be
doing,
fine.
are you gentlemen doing, the conference on, so? is
I'm doing Wednesday
Tuesday?
and Friday.
Is Tuesday the day of the conference, James?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So you wanted, why are we not doing Tuesday?
Because he has to talk to
Yeah.
the
Let's do Thursday morning at 9 AM.
If that works, that's
Or
works, because
Thursday, I mean.
Thursday,
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna be able to make, I'm gonna do all my courses on Wednesday and Friday. Thursday, I have a dentist appointment, and by the time I get out of
So I
there,
thought that 9 o'clock was a problem. I'm saying I'm willing to come at 8 if you guys are willing to come at 8. Mr. Major comes in, but around 8:30, so, I mean.
It's up
but
to you,
if it-
whatever
If
time.
it works better for you guys.
On Thursday, what time
I
you
don't
wanna do
care.
it?
What do you wanna do?
Well, if you gentlemen are adamant, I mean, I'm not opposed to doing it. You can do it on the 28th if you'd like, before my conversation, my conference call.
what time is your conference call?
1 or 2 o'clock.
So why don't we get together after this conference call?
I'm gonna make myself available whenever it happens.
Yeah.
You guys let me know when to be here and I'll be here.
So,
3 o'clock?
I'm not, cause I have a morning at 11 o'clock and
Just,
then
and
I'm
again, if
free.
you can appreciate, we can revert back to that emergency meeting that, if there's something that comes from this call with the prosecutor, we can have an emergency meeting. If nothing comes from this, or we're more concerned with getting this resolution regarding the fiscal officer completed, we could just set a special meeting up for, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, let's just,
On the 28th.
You can do it the morning of the 29th at
thank you.
9 o'clock.
It'd have to be the 30th at 9 o'clock.
What time, 3 o'clock good?
No, 3 o'clock good with me on Tuesday.
That,
28th,
on the, wait a minute, are we, when's your meeting? Your meeting?
28th.
28th,
2
So,
o'clock,
that's on Tuesday, right?
yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay, so Tuesday. And then, what time did you say your meeting was, Steve?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, so say 3 o'clock? It's on the 28th.
Okay, it's at, yep, 2 o'clock. So 3 o'clock would be fine.
Okay,
So I'll go ahead and set a, special meeting up. And then, we're gonna have here.
It's the spring.
this piece, everything came on
Yeah.
screen. Exploded on me. Must have got too worked up. Okay,
You
so.
squeezed it too tight.
Yeah, I guess. So we're set then for January 28th,
3 o'clock.
Tuesday at 3 o'clock. A special meeting here at the township will be held. And then from there, we'll visit this resolution again, and we'll hear what the prosecutor has to say.
So in the resolution, so I have it, you want to address section 503.241,
Correct?
that based on that revised code, the fiscal officer has been absent 90 days, more than 90 days.
Since August 12th.
And then to address.
That's 5 months.
And then to address in the same resolution, you would like to cease payments to the fiscal officer effective,
Yeah. Well, it'll be effective the first of the month, she's not gonna get a check. And at the first of the month, her insurance as well.
Then I have a question for Mr. Major when he gets all caught up.
I apologize about the long length of the meeting, but some of these are important.
It's important that we cross our Ts and dot our Is on this.
yes, sir.
So, this will give us time for you, when this meeting ends, to put in a call to Julie and go ahead and tell her what the board is considering.
Yes.
And get an opinion from her. And listen, that's what the lawyers are. It's their opinion. We make the decisions.
Right.
They give us their opinion and what could happen and what couldn't happen, and this and that and the other, but ultimately, we have to make the decisions. And as a board, we'll have to live with it. But we can't continue to pay somebody for 5 months and not pick up a pen.
I agree, as I said earlier, Mr. Blevins, her initial advice was to continue to pay her, but for your point, you trustees ultimately have the decision as to how.
And we're to the point where, what's the worst they're gonna do, handcuff us and take us to jail? I mean, we're being held hostage over this.
Yep.
And it's either we stand up for the people, and if they so deem whatever they wanna throw at us, but I can assure you, it looks pretty bad when you allow somebody to be paid for 5 months that won't come in, and we're in a physical emergency with the levy. I'm gonna call it.
the special meeting that you're calling, or are we gonna pass the resolution to get the levy on the ballot?
Well, if we can, that's a good idea. If we
Right.
could, if the prosecutor allows the signature that we got, absolutely.
Okay.
If
Good call.
If the prosecutor, Carmen, comes back and says, no, you have to have a fiscal officer, then we are dead in the water.
Also, I would like to see about Julie, if you ask Julie, if we can not criminally, but if we can file suit against her, you know, I mean, at least we'll go to court. If we can do a, what did I call it last time? I had it in my head, civil suit. And, at least get her served, because she's costing this township hardship and heartache is unrepairable. So it's not necessarily any funds that we wanna get from her, but at least we can get this in front of a judge. Because at this point, we can't even get in front of a judge, so if we at least file a civil suit and we take it there, at least we can get her in front of the judge. Okay, guys have anything else before we move on?
I don't, sir.
Okay, sir?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so moving, put this away. So, Police Department, Chief Smith. And Chief, if you remember Chippewa meeting in your information, if you have it.
A lot of notes, sir.
Okay.
So I think we'll start out with the homeless camp on Geneva. So a couple days ago, we did arrest a couple people out of that camp. And we are scheduled to meet the cleanup crew out there at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to remove the structure. And if there's anybody in there, we will deal with that accordingly.
So you're saying the whole thing's coming down tomorrow morning?
That's what they told me.
Okay.
I said, we'll be there to help you. So, I did emphasize with AEP that even though we remove people on an ongoing basis, it's kind of like a vacant hotel. Somebody's gonna keep coming back till we get rid of the structure, so we, they sort of kick the can a little bit, but it's like, hey, I need a date and we'll just make it happen.
Didn't come up overnight, it's not gonna disappear overnight.
Nope.
But we've definitely been working on it, haven't we?
It takes time, but it's.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's like everything else, slow process.
Yes, sir. Next, Mr. Blevins and I had a meeting with local waste, which I thought was a pretty good meeting. He was very receptive to our issues. He agreed, obviously, about the trash cans. You can't just throw them in the middle of the street and block someone's driveway. They are not supposed to park in the middle of, like, say, Klein Road, so he is gonna address that. It's more of a safety concern for them than anything, and if there is an accident, they're gonna be held at fault for that, so.
What about like on streets, like,
Well,
like my street where no one parks on the street, they could, but they deliberately block anyone from any direction, they say it's for their safety.
they are supposed to stay they are supposed to go down one side, turn around and come back the other side.
Okay,
So they're not supposed to, if it's a street, and I'll use Randsburg as an example, cause they do park on both sides. If there's cars on both sides, then there's not much they can do, but, if they are able to get over, then they need to for, their own kind of traffic.
I know like in Brookside and some of those, it's terrible because, they go from house to house.
Right.
And they won't let you get around,
Till
and
get to the
they
end of the
block
street.
the middle of the street, and it's just like, I've mentioned it, and they're saying, nope, we're allowed to do that, okay,
Well, the other option, if it persists, would be traffic citation.
right?
And the gentleman was okay with that. He told Byron and I at the end of that meeting, if you have to write them tickets, write them tickets. And another thing that came out of that meeting, you maybe were gonna touch on this, but they informed us, they have cameras on those trucks.
Yeah.
And the film on those trucks are for how many days?
7 days.
7 days, so if you have a complaint, you can call there and he said we could give his name out, correct? or
Yeah,
not?
Bob, I don't have his last name, but it's Bob with Local Waste.
And they can pull the footage off of the back of one of those trucks and see what's going on. So, this is to the residents of the township. You know, he was gonna go back and it'd been more than 7 days, but lucky for me, I was able to download it off of my security systems. And so I had it for him, and he assured us he was headed back there to address my individual problem. The problem on Jackson, on the other side of Harrisburg Pike, he was gonna speak to them about. But I thought that was pertinent information to come up, that they actually have those cameras on the back of those trucks, but it only lasts for 7 days. So if your trash gets picked up Friday and you have a problem, I recommend at the latest call on Monday,
Right.
because it's gonna take him a day or two to get this stuff pulled off of the cameras. But anybody at home that this helps, or anybody here, we're working on problems.
Yeah,
It's good info.
yeah, especially if they say, well, you didn't have your trash out, it's easy to be able to see.
I
Sometimes,
didn't realize they had cameras.
sometimes it's just getting, put the right people with the right people, you know, like we
Absolutely.
said in there. These people were this gentleman was more than willing to, work with us, and seemed like that they wanted the business of the people of the township.
Yeah, he was actually a little more receptive, I thought, than the second guy that came a couple years ago. when we met.
I don't know, I don't know if it mattered that I was a trustee, I was just a resident the last
Yeah,
time, you know what I'm
his
saying?
demeanor was a little, kinda reminded me of Scott.
I was gonna ask you, was his name Scott?
Okay, so moving on, so there was a question last meeting about officers and equipment. That was simply a late bill, the officer has all his equipment, so they're good to go.
Appreciate that info.
So we are switching for uniforms over to PAR, who is already a vendor that we use for the vehicles. They have full uniform capabilities. We're working to eliminate the possibility of some of these overages on the officers and issues that we have with the vendor. So that'll be rolled out and, within the next, I think, week, we'll be ready to go. Speed trailers, so the speed trailers, due to inclement weather, have been garaged up at 192. They're very expensive, and we don't want cars, snow plows running into them, destroying that equipment.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes, he found
They did,
just enough room to slide them in there.
Yeah.
So, we're very nice with that.
Don't hit them with a fire truck, I'm not gonna hit them with a snowplow. Don't do
Well, I wasn't thinking your plow necessarily, just everybody else's.
No, we just run away from
Mr. Fleshman and I went to the school board meeting for the charter school on Chippewa. I thought it was a fairly decent meeting for the most part. They were receptive, obviously, to us writing tickets, which it didn't matter whether they were or not. It's kind of a moot point. If you're violating the signs, we write you a ticket. So within the last, I'd say week and a half since school's been closed, a few days, 6 citations issued, 14 warnings. The day of the meeting, I sat up there and watched, and there was actually a 0 backup on Hague Avenue, 0. The only backup was when Officer Hale was writing a traffic ticket as they started to let people out, so.
so one of the things I took away from that, if you recall, in the meeting, they said that they've changed their pattern a little bit by doing dual lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, it took you to now to figure that you could move twice as many people through?
Yeah, I noticed that too when I was watching.
Yeah.
They didn't close the gates, cars were able to pull through. So they had a lot of cars that could get in there prior
Right.
to the
Stage.
220. So yeah, we'll just keep on it, and it's working out, so.
How's Ray Avenue?
We're gonna have to hit that kind of simultaneously. I imagine we're gonna have the same problem with Ray as we do with Chippewa. No, I mean, it's not on my list, but I just saw the email, and I think it's not on the news too, about the Old Christian Drive-In. I don't know if I'm assuming it's being annexed also, if it's gonna become a city park. But I don't know if they're going to take that roadway, or how that's gonna pan out. I do know.
There was was more questions than answers when I read that.
A lot, yeah.
If you remember, he was wanting to gain access from one of our, right of ways, and I said absolutely no. So is the city actually purchasing that from him, or are they taking it? It wasn't clear.
No, it wasn't clear. The only thing I know is the homeless camps will now be in city limits. It's there. So they'll have to figure out where they're going, but they're not gonna push them back.
So do we know for sure, well, the city's buying it, obviously they're gonna want to annex that, but, I don't know if the city can buy something and leave it in the township or not, but.
I would say probably not. I don't know, it's gonna be a park, so they're gonna want control over the park, so it'll go to the city.
So with thinking of that, what's the front part gonna do then? Is that gonna, are they wanting to turn it into like parking or?
If it's a park, you would hope they would allow for some parking.
The way I read it
It's
was
a small
gonna be a
street.
nature preserve.
Right, but I mean, the front part where we see the dumping and everything, the clear field, call it, if you wanna call it a field, what's gonna, other than it becoming a snow dump?
Well, we have that, but, I did read that they're putting, walking paths and things through there.
Okay.
And they had mentioned possibly connecting it to the other one that
Yeah.
runs, all the way out to, what is it, Little Darby
Mm-hmm.
and through there, so I'm not sure how they'll connect those, but.
Can't even imagine that walk. I
That's
was
a
trying to
long walk.
figure that out in my, no, I'm talking about the neighborhood you have to go through and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that, like, I wouldn't wanna be taking that walk.
It's quite a
That becomes a run.
Yeah.
Back on the 11th, we've been working on enforcement on Brown Road, after that drive-by shooting, a few weeks ago. So on the 11th, Officer Warner did a traffic stop where we recovered 235 grams of meth. It was a single.
Same.
Yeah. But that is a massive amount of drugs. May not sound like it, but
It's massive.
it's a lot. Could easily get you 20+ years in prison, so. So kudos to him, it was a great pinch. Yeah. He's definitely a go-getter, so.
How much damage was to our car, that?
None.
Okay.
Lonnie checked the tire, and, we thought maybe the rim might have been bent a little bit, but it was no damage. So nothing for us.
I figured out how I made the mistake. I went back and double checked that. I must have read that early in the morning without my glasses on, and you said minor, and I thought it said mirror.
Oh, okay.
I mean, cause I just, and I never went back and rechecked it, and I had said to you how much damage was done to the mirror, and you didn't know what I was talking about,
Yeah.
so I went back and looked, so it's fine.
It was-
I just wanted to let you know that it was me, not you.
Tires must have hit just right, to not cause any damage to you, to our part.
Yeah. You have anything?
No, I'm good.
I got a couple more.
Okay.
You got
good.
something?
No, no, you're good.
Okay, so Byron, a couple of things that's came up, when it comes to writing the tickets in the school zones, do you have the ability to personally write tickets? And can you tell us if you don't, why you don't?
Yeah.
You can personally go write tickets.
Any,
It doesn't have anything to do with, okay, two things, your car's an unmarked car,
yeah, I would use a marked car.
okay? And second of all, it doesn't have anything to do with the union saying that you can't go.
No,
do-
not that I'm
okay,
aware of.
okay, no, I'm not saying this, I'm just asking, okay?
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it in an unmarked car, you would use a marked car.
Okay.
You can.
okay. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is last meeting, you had us, approve a $10 increase on special duty, cars.
Yes.
And so, you and I had a conversation about that, and I wanna double check with the board on this. Is it your understanding that we are charging everyone to use a special duty car, or are we allowing for our officer to do special duty and use a car and not charged?
I was under the impression that everyone pays if there's a car in sight.
And how about you, John?
Well, there was, discussion, I don't know how far back or where it pertains, you've been here 3 years
Yeah.
now. But there was a situation, I can never say it, Capitia, I'm just gonna say Capitia. Yeah, whatever, I can't ever say that. That they had a car there because of taking people to jail or something of that nature. I forget the exact reason that we allow, at that time, the board said, okay. But if it was a situation where there's special duty, and they have to sit at the corner of Frank and Klein, Demarest, Klein and Demarest, anywhere, and you're going special duty, it takes a car to sit there and run. We would always charge for the car on special duty. The other place I think we didn't charge was, at Cooper Stadium, not Cooper. Speedway, yeah, because of the amount of theft that we would have to put people in a car, put them somewhere. And then when, is it still called Cooper Stadium, the new stadium, ball stadium?
Yeah.
I think so.
And at one time we thought, and even with the fire department, we thought that, them seeing, when we went there to work special duty, it gave us the, appearance, we're Franklin Township. So those were the only things that I remember that we did not charge for.
I thought we changed that, and I thought everyone was getting charged except for Speedway. And we said that Speedway was no longer using this, so
I
it
don't
wasn't the
recall,
case.
that's all I recall, the best of my ability.
So if we're gonna do it, you'd like it to be on paper, and so you have something you're able to refer back to, correct?
I would,
Yeah,
Okay,
cause this,
so-
trying to remember stuff.
Well, he has officers that he has to answer to, not he has to answer to, but he has to explain to and things like that. And so the way it was laid out for me was twofold. It was laid out to me that the officer there would have to arrest somebody, put him in the car, wouldn't have to tie up another unit to, if he didn't have the car, to say, come over here, I got an arrest, and you take him downtown. The other part of that is that if something goes sideways, he's on special duty, he can leave there and go participate and help out with something that's going wrong. Okay, well, he doesn't do special duty 7 days a week, and we seem to survive on the nights he's not doing special duty. We seem to have officers who fill in and take care of every situation that comes up, correct? And so, the part about if he has arrest and he has to call somebody over, this is why we're in a partnership with the sheriff's department. They are our backup. So if we have two people out there and he gets called over to, because he has to take somebody to jail, be no different than if they went to a domestic violence in an apartment and had to take somebody to jail that night, correct?
correct.
So, I think we need to make a policy, and that we decide among us if we're going to charge one person, we're gonna charge all people, and they either pay for the special duty car or they don't get one. That's my opinion.
Mike, you wanna make a motion? Oh, sorry.
I'll do my, go ahead.
So the only thing that I would say, there'd be exceptions, like for instance, when we do funerals, we do things of that nature, where we're using a car, or events where we're using a car because of our branding of our name. Like, for instance, the Cooper Stadium where we worked special duty, we had, the fire department down there and different things like that. I think one year we had something to do with political convention or something here, and we participated, some of our vehicles in special duty. So some of those, I think that would be great because it exposed who we are, but for the normal,
I don't think that's special duty, I think that's special events.
well, special events, they're still being paying special, they're still being charged as the reason I'm saying that is because if we say it's for everyone, then we're gonna have to charge for that. Yes, that's special duty, even though it's a special event, they're still charging a special duty rate.
Do you mind crafting a,
Okay.
resolution that covers all of
Yeah,
that?
so be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that all special duty, cars that are being used are going to be subject to the current going rate. Exception, if it is a event, either, political event, a host event, Community event,
A board-approved event.
a board-approved event, thank you. That way a board-approved event, the cars would be at no charge. If there is no further questions in the matter, I'd ask for a second.
I will second that.
Yes, that would be great, because you would be able to, yes, sir.
Can you make that just specific for the police
Please,
department?
yes.
Cause it doesn't really.
It has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
I was using you merely as something that we did with the.
Understood.
Yeah. And a roll call whenever you're ready, sir. And thank you for using that, because that sums it up. Because who knows what can come up that, you know, we do funerals and different things of that nature, like Mike Castle, other people.
Okay, Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
And Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
One more thing, sir. Sorry, bro. Long day today. The board would be interested in knowing, and if you can do this, not to put more on your plate, I know you're busy. Are you able to get us number of tickets written by each officer and the infraction when you give your monthly report?
I believe so, yes.
So we would like to have that if possible.
Okay.
Try it for a few months, like to see what's, going on, and we're not asking to go out and write a bunch of tickets, that's not what this is about.
Just want the stats.
We would just like to have the stats. Is that covered?
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I think that's all I have, sir.
You have anything?
No, I think we might cover any questions I might have had.
Okay, I'm open the floor for any,
I lied.
Yes.
If Ray Avenue becomes, with what I'm hearing, if Ray Avenue becomes an issue again with the traffic backing up, we can like pull you or the lieutenant over there to cover with Chippewa or
Yeah.
vice versa, you know.
We'll work it out.
All right.
so I'll open the floor for any quick questions or comments to the chief. Here we go.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks, bro. Sorry.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you,
Everybody.
thank you, chief. Floor is now closed. We're moving on to, fire department, Chief Arnold.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
As promised, last meeting, I did, put together just some basic run totals for the year of 2024. So for the entire year, there was 14,037 runs, which is up a tick from last year. We had 13,000 and change. That goes off dispatches, so a lot of those are duplicate runs where an engine and a medic or two engines goes. But that's how they always keep them, so it's up a little bit from the year before. Of that 14,000, engine 192 took 2,927, engine 193 took 2,997.
So I wanna stop you right there for a second. So if for some reason we can't get this levy on the ballot, that would mean one house would try to run 4,000 runs.
Yeah,
Okay.
7,000.
7,000.
There would be 7,000 untaken runs.
Right.
That have to get made up by the other station and the surrounding.
Okay, go ahead.
companies. So each engine did almost 3,000 runs. Medic 192 took 4,146, 16 of those were transports to an ER. Medic 193 here took 3,935, 53 transports. So that's 4,000 runs of ambulance, 2,500 transports. So that's 5,000 transports overall. 84 building fires, 9 of which were in the township. 5,061 township runs, of which 1,319 people, township residents, were transported to an ER. I just found that as an interesting stat.
Say that number again?
1,319
Were transferred.
transported to an ER
Okay.
by one of our members. Actually, that could be by anyone's medics, but of township runs. So, grand scheme, 76% of our runs are EMS based, 24% of our runs are either fires or other emergencies. Which we all know the fire department takes a lot of random runs. Because when in doubt, who do you call? I have breakdowns in mutual aid, if you wanna know how many times
Sure.
we went elsewhere.
If you would like to.
So, 8,800 runs were in the city, 1,837 in the township, 54 for Grove City, 21 for Hamilton Township, which is 270 and 23. Somehow we still on that card. It's technically Hamilton Township, but I think this station going east has the best shot to get to that intersection, so that's why we go there. Jackson Township, which is Grove City, 11. Norwich, which is Hilliard, we took one run. We took one run in Obetz, one run for the State Highway Patrol, one out in this Pleasant Township out west, south of us. 138 in Prairie, 2 in Urban Crest, 2 in Valley View. And randomly, 1 in Clinton Township when we were up there training. We were coming home and jumped the run because they're right next to me.
Wow.
So what is your plans when you're looking at, you see the dilemma that we have. I honestly think if we can get the levy back on the ballot, that as close as it was before, that I think it would pass. And if we can't get that on there, do you have a doomsday idea of what you're going to do? Because if we can't get it on the ballot, we're gonna have to shut one of the stations down because our funding stops.
So we are already in the process of shutting one station down due to 10 of our positions are safer FEMA grant funded, which that grant is over, they're just allowing us to use up the extra. So as that goes, if we use any of the current levies that are tax-based to fulfill those spots as they leave, that is cutting into our ability to fund stations next year and towards the end of this year. Because when this time levy runs out, the 3 permanent levies that are on the books do not collect enough money to fund one fire station.
Say that again?
The current 3 permanent levies, they do not bring in enough revenue to fund even one firehouse.
And those levies, if I'm correct, and the reason I'm asking these questions is I want people at home to hear this.
For sure.
Those levies were in different time periods.
One was 1990, one was 2004, one was 2008.
So the funding at that time was suitable for, at that time. So at this time, we lose the time levy one. The other 2 levies are not gonna be able to support even one station, is that correct?
That is correct.
So now the township is in very dire need. To stay a township, you have to be able to provide police and fire.
Correct.
So our way of being a local government and local, a township, being a township, is at risk.
And if we miss the one in May, the next
Hmm?
option's all the way till November, correct?
Yes.
You have
And
to be
then
able to
how
provide it
much,
rather than just like Valley
safer-
View, you would have to.
I thought you and I
pay
had
for
a
it.
conversation, or maybe all of us, you were talking about safer funds that were left over. How's that looking? How far we're gonna be able to get down?
As of right now, it looks like we have enough funding to get those positions through the month of May. So
Oh,
into
just May.
June. But there are people leaving for other opportunities and job security, so that funding will sustain at least something through June. And then if there's money left over, we can petition the government to let us continue to use that funding until we run out of it.
So we have, I'm calling nutrition people, trained, qualified people that has been here for a while, looking at going somewhere else due to our financial status, correct?
Yeah, we've lost one, and there's more.
How, with our physical state, meaning with our physical officer, does that compel or play into the Franklin Township isn't a safe place, is not a financial, stable place to work.
I don't think that plays into
Okay.
their minds at all. I think it's fully based on, will I have a job? Most of the guys here have families. Can I provide for my family in
Sure.
June? Will I have a job? Will a levy pass this year, so we have the fire department next year?
And I understand, you know, you have someone call XYZ township or city or village, and they have an opening now, and do I go or do I jump or do I not? Do I step off the Titanic once it hits the water or before it hits the water?
Yeah, and in that PowerPoint I presented before the last levy, if you look at what your fireman, firefighter, not even a paramedic anymore, which is what we still run,
Right.
they can get a $20,000 pay raise at anywhere else in Central Ohio. Right out of the gate, if they're a paramedic, they're getting $30,000-$40,000 pay raises.
And then
To do
two,
less.
and two, from what I'm seeing, the same with officers, you just can't go to a temporary service and get a firefighter or a policeman. And everybody seems to be short in this economy, so, it's a firefighter and a police officer's dream to be able to, know that there's plenty of work out there and, the pay, you can negotiate your pay. So it's a different side of it. Does you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Sir, do you have anything?
I think he has
I just have a couple other just
Sure.
I don't have anything though. I'm sorry.
office items. Firefighter Skylar Regal requested to be placed on FMLA. Steve and I have been working through the paperwork. I think we just need a motion from you guys to allow that.
Okay, so I make a motion, that Skylar Taylor, correct?
Skylar Regal.
Regal, be placed on administrative leave based upon all statutory FMLA. I really butchered that one up. All statutory paperwork has been, in place, is that correct, gentlemen?
It's being processed as we speak.
Okay,
So being it's the birth of a new child, I'm assuming that it's going to be approved.
okay, so if there's no further questions, I'd ask for a second,
I will second.
and a roll call when ready.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Fleishman.
Yes, is he the Cleveland guy, meaning that he jumped in the water or whatever?
No,
I,
that gentleman left the fire service.
totally? Okay,
That is all I have.
okay. Any quick questions? I'll open the floor for go ahead.
Okay, so some of the concerns of my neighbors is when they go on the auditor's website to figure out what the tax increase would be for them, they're looking at like $1,600 a year.
So the way this levy works is we're trying to pass an incorporated levy, which brings in all of the annexed properties. Since 2003, it allows us to maintain those fire levies. So that even when they annex to the city, they still have to pay us because we're still the closest fire department. And they were once in Franklin Township. So to pass that type of levy, you can't replace anything that's there. You have to put on a new levy. So the way we worked it last time is these gentlemen said in past resolutions that said we will nullify all levies that are on the books, which at the time were the 3 permanents and the time levy. Now we would just have to replace the 3 permanent levies. And it basically just nullifies any taxes that they see under their fire levy on the auditor's page. It would zero all those out, and just this levy would be their,
New levy.
yeah, just the new levy would be their taxes for the fire levy.
The others go away, they go away, they're voided.
Right, and, you know, I understand that because I've talked to you about it numerous times. But I'm just saying from the standpoint of my neighbors, they're like, how can I pass this? Because, you know, we can't afford another $1,600 a year. You know, but I think, like you're saying, is when they're adding that up on the auditor side, that it is adding the new levy in with the 3 that are still there.
That's what I'm assuming they're doing, but if you could just assure them that anything that's there right now is gone if we pass this levy.
This one replaces it, this replaces,
Right, but it would be nice to be able to figure out, you know, how much it would be without that, and I, you know. a lot
We
of
bring
people
those
don't-
numbers, I think last time it was $508 per 100,000,
Mhm.
and that's it, like, that is the total. There is no additional on top of that.
Right,
is
and
the
that's
total.
based on the,
That's your home evaluation per the county, not.
Correct, not-
Real estate
correct.
value, not what you could sell your home for, what your tax
what
evaluation
your
is.
tax base is. Okay.
And
Well,
I wanna
think-
say thank you, and you're doing a great job too.
I appreciate
Hey, Bob,
Amen.
with that, her saying that and everything, if this goes the way we're hoping it goes and everything, you and I should get together and do another video. I feel like that was very fruitful. It's our biggest watched video. It's in the hundreds of people who watch that video, so I just, when she asked you that question, it made me think, if this goes the way we're hoping and everything, we'll sit down and do even a couple if we want to.
Does it still have my sign?
We might even try one more meeting down at the church or something, and if we don't get anything, we don't get anything, we don't do it
Absolutely,
again.
absolutely. I think also if a bunch of us get together, I know it's hard for the trustees, but if we have a pack together and they get a postcard to say, come watch your video to understand it,
Yeah.
that we would get more people that way.
Maybe if we had someone to help people figure out what the tax would be
Yeah.
by using the auditor
Auditors,
site.
yeah.
You know,
The
because of-
union had that all set up, and if people could find it on the union's social media pages, they broke it down pretty simply for them.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of getting it out there. That's the
Yeah.
hardest thing, is just
getting it to
getting
the
information
hands of the
to
people.
everyone who needs it.
Okay, well,
Okay,
thank you,
thank you.
chief, I appreciate it. We're now closing the floor. Road department, Jim Stevens,
Mine's pretty easy. I have nothing for the board today.
okay.
I have-
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
No,
James.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I just, it just said an update, and I just want, are we on par? I understand that the building is the building, but I mean.
Yeah, we're still in the process. We
We're
got,
good to go?
yep, we got bids that we're still working on and coming in. Right now, everything's just kinda waiting until the first of the year. I know Mr. Mazur's working with legal on contract for Pickle Lumber. That's a big thing that we're working on right now, but other than that, all of the contractors and everything, we're in the process still putting it all together, but we're on par.
And then, Steve, I wanted to ask you this, at one point, we talked about possibly, we were gonna wait till after the holidays for these cans out here to, with the construction coming on and everything. I think these cans out here, we're gonna have machinery coming in and out of here and stuff, and we just don't have the room for those cans right now. So we think we should get a hold of the company
As soon as we get all that out of the way, then we can
find
restart.
somebody to, we've been good Samaritans for a long time for here on the west side, and maybe somebody else could step up to the plate and take them for a while.
so what I'd like to do real quickly is make a motion that, Mr. Mazur can make the cans go bye-bye and call the people. And at this point, we're gonna cease the ability of the cans on Franklin Township property. If I could have a second on that,
I'll second that.
and a roll call when ready.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
And Mr. Lee?
Yes.
The reason I did that was because I recall a, resolution for them to be there,
Okay.
or a motion to be there. I wanted to make sure that we cover our bases.
Understood. That was all I had, thank you. I think James had something.
I have clarification, we're not waiting on bids to come back, bids are already through on the building,
No,
correct?
what we need is, I need, and our attorney's working on it, I need an actual contract, for buying pickle lumber in the township,
Okay.
in a contract.
That's critical, the wording of the way he answered
Yeah.
is critical in the wording for the AARP money, or ARP money. We've
Well,
already got
we have taken care of that, we've
Okay.
encumbered all the funds as required by ARPA.
Okay.
So yes, we're in good shape with that.
And the only other thing I have for you is, You guys did a great job
Yep.
during
Absolutely.
the snow and,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
calling the guys in. I know that no one wants to come in the middle of the night. I don't like getting a text in the middle of the night, but I'd much rather get a text than have to.
I'd rather not have to send one in the middle of the night. But to answer your question on that too, some of the bids, you got monies set aside for your plumbing, your electric and whatever, but that still doesn't stop us from getting some other bids in. You can always change who it's going to.
Right.
But yeah, and that's where I was headed with that, sir.
I'm gonna open the floor for any questions for the road department. Hearing none, close the floor, and yes, thank you. Everyone did a really good job. I know it was a waiting game until it started to snow, but it definitely came, so thank you. Moving on to the fiscal department, which we don't have anyone here for, so Mr., almost said Stevens. Mazer, if you could, take that.
He's starting
role.
again, he's starting
Yep.
again.
The first I have, thank you, Chairman, is a motion to approve accounts payable. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve accounts payable from January 8th, 2025 through January 22nd, 2025 in the amount of $100,189.70 from ACH voucher numbers 722025 through 1622025. And there's an exhibit with the payables for your review.
Okay. If there's no further questions, gentlemen, I'd ask for a second.
I will second that.
Hearing a second, I would ask for a roll call.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Fleishman.
Yes.
There's no signature.
I don't know if you wanna look at them.
No, I was looking at it on my-
later.
Cause that's the
I was
same
looking
as-
at 'em and-
yeah, we got it right here.
The next I have is motion to approve payroll as written. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve staff payroll for the pay period December 29th, 2024 through January 11th, 2025 in the amount of $214,844.83. Direct deposit on January 17th, 2025, electronic vouchers 0097-2025 through 0155-2025 or 2025.
If there's no further questions on the matter, I'd ask for a second.
I will second.
Here in a second, I'd ask for a roll call.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
And Mr. Fleishman?
Yes.
Next I have resolution 2025-010, approving the obligations authorized by the administration for the period of January 8th, 2025 through January 22nd, 2025. Whereas the Board of Township Trustees in Resolution 2021-130 authorized the Township Administrator to approve and or incur obligations of $10,000 or less on behalf of the Township in accordance with section 507.11 of the ORC, pursuant to the provisions of section 507.11A of the ORC, the obligations approved by the Township Administrator must be subsequently approved by the adoption of a formal resolution by the Board of Township Trustees. The obligations incurred by the Administrator is presented in Exhibit A, attached. That all formal actions of this board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, and all deliberations of this board and in its committees have resulted in such formal action. Where meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and will be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
Any further questions?
I have one. Looks like we installed brakes on a 2020 F550, and it looks like we're paying it to an individual.
That's a
instead of
business.
a shop.
It's a business.
It just happened to be his name.
Yeah, Hawkins Automotive, that's
Okay.
the business's name, Hawkins Automotive.
Okay.
With that being answered, I would second it.
If there's no further questions, we got a second. Here in a second, I'd ask for a roll call.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Fleishman.
Yes.
Next resolution I have is 2025-007. It's a resolution of approving payments to Charles E. Harris and Associates for audit services. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board approves and authorizes a payment of $31,875 to Charles E. Harris and Associates Incorporated for audit services related to the period of 2020 and 2021. The billing relates to an IPA contract approved to the auditor's state. Exhibit is attached for your review. All formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that result in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Any further questions? Hearing none, I'd ask for a second.
I will second.
Here in a second, I'd ask for a roll call when ready.
Mr. Blevins,
Yes.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Fleishman.
Yes.
Then,
It's right here. I think the other piece was, it's just like tween.
then the last resolution I have is 2025-009, accepting engagement letter number 32 between Jeff Wilczek CPA and Franklin Township. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board approves to accept engagement letter number 32 between Jeff Wilczek, CPA retired, and the Franklin Township Board of Trustees for 100 hours at $60 an hour for a total of $6,000. The engagement letter is attached. That all formal actions of this board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution will pass in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees have resulted in such formal action or in meetings open to the public in compliance with section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Any questions on the matter?
Yeah, I'm sure they knew there was going to be. So, Mr. Wilczek was supposed to leave at the end of the month, correct?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Of January, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no way he can use 100 hours. I mean, I just.
In talking with him, Mr. Blevins, I think his initial plan was the end of January, but I think he is getting into, and let me verify that on his engagement letter.
I read the letter.
So it looks like what he is doing that will carry him into February is reconciling post-year transactions in UAN, which you're all familiar with, is the auditor state, software. Preparing W-2s and 1099s, which I think have been completed. And then, budget reports we filed from the Budget Commission, and year-end reports, and the notes to the annual report to the other state. I'm wondering, I think those are the Hinkle notes that we're still catching up on. But in his engagement letter, what he's saying, to be frank, is he needs to go through sometime in February to get us caught up to where we need to be.
Looks like he's still addressing some things in the audit for 17, 18, 19, and 2020.
It's never about his work, it's never, I don't think if we give him 100 hours and he only used 50, he expected to be paid for the whole 100. But again, I came in a year ago, and a year ago he told me he was out of here at the end of January, and now he's here a whole another year.
Which I'm glad he is.
Okay, well, and then, was he or was he not going to give you something to go by to get somebody else to come in here? And I know you're in talks with an individual.
Yeah, we did, we talked about I believe it was a position description,
Yes,
and then he gave me 2 sites. One we can go through the, posted on the Ohio Township Association website. And then the other one was a site, I'm gonna mess this acronym up, GFOA. From my understanding, we have to become members of that, so I need to look into us becoming a member so we can post the job description on that site. But yeah, that's the last I remember that we were gonna set up a job description.
Is there a site, I know police have it, fire have it, and et cetera, different people for different professionals. Is there, like Township has OTA, is there a site for CPAs that,
I think that's the whole purpose again, is G.
so that is that site,
I
okay,
think.
okay, okay.
so my whole thing, Steve, is,
Yeah.
and listen, I get it and everything, and I know you wanna get out of here, James.
No, you're fine.
Hang in here. Is I was here the other morning for a meeting for the scholarship fund,
Mhm.
and Mr. Wilczek was here,
Mhm.
okay? And nothing about him, but we're paying him $60 an hour, okay? And Mr. Wilczek sat here and stuffed envelopes and things like that. We have capable people that are able to do these jobs. I think we have them do those type of jobs. You know, do you get what I'm saying? Does it seem picky to you?
No, absolutely, I understand. It makes sense, yes.
And then I'm going home and I'm reading this, that we're gonna pay enough, okay. I just wanted to bring that up, so.
I think we need to use him more wisely, is what Mike's getting to.
Right, so we have a motion on the floor, any other questions? Hearing none, I would ask for a second.
I will second it.
Here in a second, not here in a second, hearing a second, I would ask for a roll call when ready.
Mr. Blevins,
No,
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
and Mr. Fleshman.
Yes.
I'm gonna get two of these down to 2, that's another PO that.
I got my own, she got me another.
Okay.
I'm following this resolution up with a purchase order. This is to cover the township's entire dental bill,
Okay,
dental insurance for 2025.
okay.
And that's all I have, sir.
Okay. That's under the fiscal or also under administration?
That's everything.
That's it.
Everything, wow, okay, you're good. So, we're coming to the end. Mike, do you have anything?
I do 2 things left on the
Okay.
list, I've just been working them all. Had a meeting with Franklin Heights, principal and the, lady in the, can't think of her name, Mrs. Emsweiler, who handles, counselor, there you go, counselor. And we're all set up for this year's scholarship, we've got the dates down, and we are reaching out to the Southwestern City School, people to see if they would be able to, present the award with Mr. Mazer again, everything, and that went really well. I just want to keep the board, abreast of that, and so that'll be sometime in the month of, I think we set it on June, wasn't it June? We picked the meeting like June,
May,
I thought it was June the 12th.
That's after
For the,
graduation.
yeah, but I'm talking about the presentation.
what are we looking at?
It's okay, it's okay, we don't
I know
have to say.
May 2nd for some of the season.
I'm thinking that's, the awards assembly and all of those things
Oh,
and
that's
stuff
right,
like
and then
that.
they're coming into the.
They're
trustee
coming
meeting
here to
too.
get their check.
Oh,
And then lastly, and I'm gonna ask every, year, would the board consider, having some meetings in the evenings, for residents that, has
Yes,
concerns about being able to make meetings in the daytime, so we can go on from there, but I did ask and wanted to see what you gentlemen thought.
I think they're working out fine.
Okay. Is this a double sign?
Yeah, it's a double sign.
Okay, so I didn't sign any double.
That's
Anything
just my
else for us,
opinion.
sir?
That's all I got.
And then Mr. Leeser?
Anything I have is, don't we have minutes from the first two meetings of the month to,
I'm gonna have all those at the February.
I might have missed
Six
it.
of these.
okay, I just didn't want us to get behind.
No, I just wanna make sure that we cover, that we catch up or
I missed
start
that
off
one.
where we left off in 2025.
Okay.
Last,
2024,
24, yes.
Okay.
No, we'll,
okay. That's all I had, I didn't want us to get behind like we were.
I do not, do you have anything else?
No.
I do not. At this point in time, if there's anything that was discussed in this meeting, I'm gonna open the floor for a quick question. Go ahead.
To Chief Arnold, can you write down the website to go find what you're saying to give people a formula? Because that's one of the things that the older people that I've talked to have said, well, but, you know, when they go to the auditor's website, just like Brenda said, if I can take that to them, that would be most helpful.
I will make sure it's more accessible
Yeah.
this go around.
To get
so
a,
that
to
everyone-
get a formula that they
Sure.
can look at and we can share it. You know, hey, you know, no, here's, ignore that one, go look at this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will make a
That-
video of
yeah.
how to with the website, what line to look at, what to click on.
Will that go on the Franklin Township page then?
We can put it on there, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I close the floor. It is now approximately 1:36, and we are adjourned. Ooh, that was.
That was a good one.
That was not good.
That was a great one.
I know.